Hello everyone, welcome to a new video, and as you might have noticed, right now I'm speaking English since you have frequently asked me about making any of my videos in English, and plus today we are celebrating this huge milestone of 10,000 subscribers. I decided to make this video completely in English. Of course, I will put English subtitles so as so that everybody will be able to understand, to see the main point of this video. And let me get started. First and foremost, of course, thank you all guys for being subscribed to this channel. It's been a really long journey. Thank you for your comments, for your likes, dislikes, and all these things. And of course, I have some notes so as not to get lost throughout this video, because actually I'm not planning to edit this video so that everybody will be able to see what it's like for a non-native speaker, for a person who's been learning English and actually who started to teach this English, this language. Actually, right now I've made a mistake, who started teaching this language. Yeah, and by the way, just a quick note also. Throughout the video, I will be speaking in my natural way, which is kind of different from the way I teach English, from the way I learn this language, because I'm going to be completely honest and transparent. There is a difference between feeling the language, using the language in your daily life, and like teaching the language. Because again, when I act as a teacher, of course, I just mind my language, I pay attention to some structures, to some, grammatical rules, etc. When I speak, in the English language, I mostly care about how I, let's say, convey my thoughts. That's my primary goal. And of course, I also want to highlight this small point, because, you left lots of comments, especially under some surveys which I published. Because so far I've published 7 or 8 these street surveys in which I was like asking people some questions, etc. And of course I saw your comments. You told me that I speak pretty fast. I look like I'm a little bit nervous. Again, to be completely honest, to be completely transparent, of course, when it comes to speaking in your second language, which is actually this is not my primary or model, it's not my mother tongue. When it comes to speaking, let me say it this way. When it comes to speaking English language, of course, everybody, even having C1 level, even like having C2 level, people will be a little bit nervous, a little bit uncomfortable, because not only do you have to like convey your thoughts, but also you have to pay attention to the structures, you have to pay attention to some words, because again, even if you've been learning this language for, I don't know, 10, 15 years, it's not the same as speaking in your first language, which is basically the Russian language for me. Yeah, it's been just a quick note before we get started. Again, I have some notes, and let me start with this one. To be completely honest, again, 2 years ago, let me see. Yeah, a little bit more than 2 years ago, when I started this channel, this YouTube channel, also Instagram, etc. I couldn't even have thought about that this channel, I mean this particular channel, YouTube channel, would grow all the way up to 10,000 subscribers. Actually, it's a really big number. If I were to put like in front of me 10,000 people and make them watch or look at me, it would be a really huge crowd of people just staring at me, maybe asking me some questions or watching actually what I'm doing right now. It's a really big number. Thank you all guys again for being subscribed to this channel. Thank you for watching videos. I've always tried to be completely transparent. I've always been completely honest with you guys about some, methods of, learning the language, the way I teach this language, maybe some of my principles, maybe some of my ways, etc, etc, etc. And of course, so far you find this channel pretty interesting. This is actually what I've been trying to do, to make every single video as interesting and at the same time as useful as possible. And also because in this video, as I said before, I'm gonna be completely clear and open about all these things. I want to just highlight some small points. By the way, there's a yacht out there. There are lots of people surfing, because the place I live in, it's a pretty popular activity, a pretty popular pastime, and people living here really enjoy doing this kind of activity. So about I would say about the content on this channel. You know, I just want to just look back a little bit, maybe 2 years ago. In February 2023, and actually how I started making this, how I started, you know, launching this channel, how I started making video for this YouTube channel, because in February 2023, back then I had already been working in the financial field for almost 3 years or even 4 years, something like that. Yeah, since 2019. Yeah, it's been, you know, it had been almost, let me see, almost 4.5 years or something like this. And actually, like the main question which I constantly ask myself, and like sometimes I just think about that, I look back and I think, you know, what I maybe could have done better, should have done, or something that I didn't actually do. And actually what really sparked me, what caused me to run this YouTube channel, is the fact that we wasn't given some bonuses that we had been promised to receive. It's like, you know, when you work in the financial field, in addition to your monthly salary, you usually have this annual bonus, which is like equivalent of your annual salary, like 80–70% of your annual salary. And you know, I wouldn't say it was a complete rip-off, but you know, on paper you have nothing except your salary. And of course, back then I was quite young. I wouldn't say that I've grown, you know, too much, but again, you know, back then, actually, if it were now, probably, you know, I wouldn't think the same way. But I'm really glad, and I appreciate the fact that this is what caused me to start thinking in a different way. Let me just check if I'm making this video, because it will be a complete mess if something goes wrong. Yeah, here we are, 10th minute. Yeah. So, where was I? Yeah, February 2023. This is the time when I actually started thinking about, because, you know, I started thinking about not making YouTube videos, but I started thinking about like creating something like on my own. Because I was like, you know, working this 9-to-5 job, it was pretty boring. I got pretty bored with this, you know, all the screens, all these things, and like when you work in this job, especially when you're, you know, quite young person, you want something like, you want to have this active lifestyle and all these things. And I started thinking about what I can share with people in terms of the knowledge that I had at the time. And at the time, basically, it was what? It was finance. Like, you know, I could have started making my YouTube videos about finance, some advice, some recommendations, principles, etc. Basically, how financial markets, they work, whatever. But in addition to that, I had some, and I still have this fitness part of my life, because I've been going to the gym for almost, you know, 12 years, and I have some, you know, like some knowledge in this industry, etc. And of course, it was English, the English language, which at the time I had already been learning, you know, for several years. And it was like, you know, after making some analysis, after making some research, etc., because, you know, it took me some time to realize and to understand what I was actually going to start making my next videos about. And I actually put my choice, as we can say it in English, probably, yeah, we can. I put my choice to English content. You know, it was really difficult, you know, right now, even because right now I'm feeling like I'm, you know, just going through the same emotions at the same time, and right now I have received some message. Yeah. Well, of course, what I started with, actually, I started with making short videos, which, to be honest, sucked at the first time, because you know, the concept which I decided to start with first time, it was like me speaking English. Back then, my English command was really horrible. You know, the accent was even worse than it is right now, of course. And as I told you before, previously in my videos, and maybe you've noticed that, my idea, I've never been a strong advocate for, you know, English accent or getting rid of English accent, because it's not what defines your English level. What does define your English level is how clear and how concise you can convey your thoughts, how, let's say, I mean, how well you feel the language. That's what matters. That's what matters, but not, let's say, you know, whether you have British or Russian or American accent. You know, it's not. Well, yeah. The first format which I started with was actually me standing, you know, with a wall behind me and just conveying my thoughts, some things, words, etc. in English. Of course, you know, after making such videos for maybe 1 month, I realized that, you know, it actually didn't gain any traction, which I was actually supposed to receive, or I actually had wanted to receive. And then I kind of shifted towards making some, you know, cooking videos, kitchen videos, in which I was just cooking some stuff, some, you know, dishes, etc. Of course, in English. You know, I would put the names of some actions, some dishes, some ingredients, recipes, etc. in English, and it was like kind of speechless videos in terms of I didn't make any sound, any voice recorded on my microphone. I was just do it actually later while editing. Well, after making like this kind of videos for also maybe 2 or 3 months, I was like, well, you know, doesn't work the way I want. And yeah, then I actually started making videos which you've probably seen on Instagram, on you know, YouTube Shorts. It's like people, you know, talking about pretty much regular things. For example, I don't know, 3 ways how you can replace the word to be beautiful, this idiom, that phrase, this phrase. And of course, you know, to wrap this up, to package this, there's a helicopter, by the way, to package this into some humor, into some action, into some, you know, play role, etc. You know, you've probably seen even on my YouTube channel this kind of video when you try to be funny, when you want to say some, even like some bad language, bad word, you want to just swear a little bit to make it as funny as possible, to make this video, actually to make your viewers, to make your audience watch this video. Well, this is actually something that I still keep doing. And well, then maybe on January 2024, I would say as of January 2024, it was even, let's say, 1 year later, I had already been making my videos for almost 10, 11 months. And of course, you know, the number of my subscribers was at the time, let me again check if I'm making this video. Yeah, the number of my subscribers was like 500, 600 people or something like this. And for actually 1 year of running a YouTube channel, it was a relatively small number. I was like, maybe I should start thinking about, let's say, expanding my channel, thinking about, or in the direction of making some money to commercialize my channel, etc. And, you know, after some like preliminary contemplation about what I could make my own videos about, I was like, holy crap, I really know, I did know, and of course right now I know how I can help people train and let's say improve their listening skills. Because when it comes to helping people to improve their speaking skills, of course, it's quite debatable. In my opinion, it's impossible, you know, by YouTube to help people improve their speaking skills. When it comes to listening skills, for sure, this is something that you can do. This is something that you can be even accountable for. You know, it's in your, you can, how we can say this in English? It's in your hands or something like this, because you can do this. Well, this is when I started making all this, you know, all this, I would say, working with interviews, working with podcasts, explaining grammar, explaining words, explaining some things, rules, grammar, etc. This is actually the format which I still keep doing, and I really enjoy doing this, because actually it's not something that I, you know, force myself to do. It's something that I do outside this YouTube channel. Every single time I watch some, you know, Fox News, CNN, some BBC News videos, some, you know, interviews, podcasts, and, you know, quite honestly, guys, after making any, I would say almost any episode, I usually continue watching this, of course, you know, without subtitles, but, you know, outside making this video. This is actually was a, you know, quite short story about how I started making this YouTube channel. So what else? As I told you before, I have some notes here. How did I start this? And yeah, so yeah, this is the next part. Well, with all been said, because I was also planning to make this video about other things which are related to my life, to be honest, because I'm not only the only teacher, the English teacher, I'm also, let's say, a real human being with my thoughts, some problems, with things which I've been like thinking about. And by the way, before I continue, let me just take a sip of water. I have some water here because it's pretty, I wouldn't say it's pretty hot here, but it's like plus 18 degrees, but right now it's not cloudy, it's pretty sunny, which is why it seems to be really hot. Well, what do we have here? Yeah, I want to switch to the next part of this video in which I will cover some things which I would say, yeah, I've been thinking about lately. Yeah, because in this channel, as I've said, I'm not only, you know, an English teacher, I'm also a person. And to be completely honest, I even tried to launch my second YouTube channel, which was conducted in the Russian language, but then I stopped because actually I didn't have any idea around which that channel was supposed to revolve. Because if you have a YouTube channel, you should realize that not only do you have to convey your thoughts or just be a good speaker, but also you should have some idea. For example, in this channel, you know, the primary idea is actually the English language and words, rules, etc., listening comprehension, etc. You know, on my Russian channel, which still exists, of course, you can actually find this on YouTube. It's not a problem. Just you should just put my name and my surname, and probably you will succeed in finding this channel. Yeah, I didn't have any idea. It was just some random videos, but yeah, I just wanted to start making videos about some, you know, life-related things, some self-improvement things, some problems which, you know, all people in their 20s and their 30s have, even like people in their 40s, because right now we live in a pretty tough time, you know, with social media and stuff. And let me just maybe highlight just a couple of things, a couple of such things, because I guess, you know, also, as I said before at the beginning of this video, one of the primary goals of this video, guys, is to show you like who I am really. Because, you know, I guess it's always great when you can see a person, when you can see any author or any channel, not only talking about his subject, but also, you know, actually opening up completely, being transparent, being honest, and all these things. Well, so the first one which I want to highlight is communication between people. What I want to say about this, first and foremost, I don't really like the way people communicate right now in 2025. And by the way, I, you know, have already made a video on my Telegram channel about Instagram. When it comes to communication between people, it may seem to be a little bit ambiguous, unclear, because you know, it's a pretty broad subject. But what I want to convey and what I want to say is that specifically, I don't like the way people communicate right now in terms of optionality. You know, it's a pretty rare word. You may not find this on some dictionaries, etc., but you know, it is the word. You can find this on Google or something. Optionality. It means that, let's say, how many options people have, and not even real options. But let me explain this way. Let me say it this way. It used to be in a way that people back then, 30 or 40 years, even like 20 years ago, people didn't have as many options as we do right now. Like, people didn't have social media, people didn't have Instagram, people didn't have, and primarily I'm going to be talking about vertical content social platform like TikTok, Instagram, and maybe YouTube Shorts. This is the main point. And what I want to say, what I want to convey here is, if you use your Instagram, your Telegram, or not even Telegram, your TikTok, your Instagram for consuming information, for, let's say, scrolling down, for wasting your time, this is what you should stop doing immediately, just right now after watching this video. Because again, I'm going to give you just a straight example. I'm going to check again because it will be a complete disaster if I realize that I'm not recording this video. Yeah, but again, I see the red button. and probably it is okay. Well, yeah, I'm not going to cut this video, to edit this video. Yeah, it's going to be in a natural way. So yeah, about Instagram, yeah, the way I do this, the way I make my videos, and actually the way I deal with Instagram and some TikTok and stuff, because I have short videos and all these things, but the way I deal with them, I just schedule them. I don't sit on Instagram. Maybe I can just, once in a while I can go there, I can, scroll down some videos. Of course, I'm a real person. Maybe just 5 minutes or, 3, 5, maximum 10 minutes a day I can do this. But it's, I guess, nothing comes close to what other people do. I mean, sorry, other people, they scroll for several hours a day, because if you're gonna watch their screen time, it will show you that their screen time, their consumption time is like 5-6 hours a day, and it's not a joke, guys. It's not a joke, really, it's true. And going back to the title, which I mentioned before, communication between people, what it does create when you occupy this consumer side, when you scroll up and down, you realize that you are slowly getting used to consuming and to dealing with this short content, short information, like consuming short information, talking to people in a short way. Actually, and ingraining, because it ingrains you, this idea, into your brain that right now you can replace anybody just by opening Instagram. If you don't like somebody, if you are not satisfied with just anybody or somebody, let's put it this way, for example, your partner, your friends, whatever, maybe the place you live, you can just open Instagram, you can just start talking to other people by thinking, just thinking, hypothetically thinking, that it will substitute, it will replace the real human interaction, which is actually not, which is not. And yeah, I would say it's been the biggest delusion so far, maybe for the last 5 years. And yeah, sometimes, I would tell you that actually not being a part of this movement, I feel like sometimes that I'm just out of the market. By saying out of the market, I mean that I don't prefer this way. I don't prefer just incorporating this digital interaction into my personal life. Of course, I do people I communicate with. I do have some. Of course, I do use social media or some Telegram, Instagram to communicate with my students, with some subscribers. But anyway, I don't consume content. I don't use, let's say, Instagram as often as other people do, and actually don't see any sense in this, because it only actually does more harm than good. And from my modest perspective, I would say that a person who's accountable, I mean CEO, who's accountable for incorporating all these algorithms and all these things, recommendations, should be jailed forever, should be punished, should be just even like, I don't know, but should be jailed at least, just minimum jailed, because you cannot even imagine which kind of harm has been done maybe for the last, as I said before, 5, 3, 7 years in terms of recommendations. If you live in a big city, for example, in Moscow, in St. Petersburg, in London, wherever, any capital city, in huge city, megapolis, just go to subway during the rush hour, 9 a.m., 6 p.m., and just see what people do. Actually, they just sit with their phone with their head down, and they just, staring at the phone, just getting completely stuck in their phone, and it's a complete disaster. I don't even know how to describe this, but it's a whole shit, guys, really. It's a whole disaster. Yeah, let alone, because I've seen lots of, videos with really smart psychologists, smart people in this, industry, talking about, pros and cons of this. And I would tell you that if it goes the same way, in 5 years, we will see really digital replacement of even relationships. Yeah, it's true. Just think about that. You will be able to see, by using AI, by using some things, features, you will be able to see digital version of a girlfriend. By the way, there's a vehicle out there, which is why it's going to be noisy a little bit. You will probably see some replacement, digital replacement of a girlfriend, a friend, a people, and I don't know. I just don't want to live in such world, and I wouldn't say I don't want to live, but I don't want to be a part of such a world. And of course, as I said before, even like being out of the market at the same time, I would say, you know, because, you know, I've always been a strong advocate for quality, not quantity, because it's like, you know, right now we can see lots of people having kind of like, you know, in their perspective, from their perspective, having just, let's say, thousands of friends, thousands of subscribers, thousands of people, but, you know, in reality, they have nobody. They have no one because it is not the way it seems to be, you know. Dealing with people digitally, dealing with people, you know, through social media, is nothing like, is nothing close as, you know, real human interaction. And I would tell you, since let me check it again. Yeah, since I've been making this street surveys, I would tell you for sure that people become more anxious. When you approach people to ask them some questions, even like, how are you or something, they're anxious because they're not used anymore to interacting. Oh, butterfly here. They're not used anymore to interacting personally, you know, face to face. When they, you know, when they get approached, they're just freaking out. They don't know what to answer. And it's scary. It's really scary. It's really overwhelming. And, you know, I'm not saying this, you know, for the sake of finding some solution. This is just my thoughts. This is, maybe you will be interested in seeing like who I am really, who I am really, like the way I think. And I probably, you know, I know for a fact that lots of you guys also in your 20s and 30s, maybe in your teenagehood, also have the same ideas, and you think about that. Well, the next point which I want to highlight also, which I want to cover, is my perception of life. Of course, you know, it sounds, let me just also take a sip of water. By the way, I'm really glad with the fact that I'm not going to to edit this video, because I guess nobody so far has actually done the same. Because being a Russian-speaking person, and at the same time being able to make an English video in English, of course, without editing this, without you know, being afraid of how, you know, how well or how bad you speak, it's just no, it is not the problem. Well, yeah, my perception of this life. Of course, as I said, it's a pretty broad and wide topic, but primarily what I want to highlight is, what I want to target is, let me read this because so it's not to get lost. I've never tried to seem better than who I am, unlike the most common behavior when most people out there try to seem and look better than they really are. Yeah, it's been a really also big problem. Let me also check if my microphone is recording the sound. Yeah, here we are. It's been also a problem. I'm not sure, of course, more than for the last 5 or 10 years, but and of course, I'm sure it existed before, even like before social media. But I hate this. What I want to say is that I've always tried to look and to seem worse than let's say, who I am really. Like, for example, since I'm, again, completely honest and transparent, of course, you know, I had been working in the financial field. You know, I didn't go partying, I didn't go just drinking, smoking, etc. And of course, you know, when I received all those bonuses, of course, all this money, you know, I have all this money actually, and it is accumulated on some deposits, some, you know, bank accounts, some investments accounts, etc., some shares, stocks, bonds, equities, etc., all these financial instruments, and it's a pretty, to be honest, it's a pretty big wealth, really, like a relatively big wealth. For an average dude out there in Moscow, it's a pretty big number. But as you can see here, right now I'm just standing here in this t-shirt, you know, in these shorts, you know, in this, you know, this sneakers, and this is my actual way I look. Usually I look like. And you can see, for example, my Instagram, you can see my Telegram, you can see my YouTube. I never try to like show off. I never try to seem and to make other people think that I am better than let's say the person who just, let's say, who how should we say this? Let me think about that. It's a really difficult structure in English. Yeah, I never try to make other people think that I'm, let's say, a better person than who I'm really. Yeah, I guess that's the correct way to say this. And so where was I? Yeah, because for some, in my opinion, unexplainable reason, I have some acquaintances. I have just even a few friends who are actually a complete opposite type of people. They don't have as much money as I do. They don't have as much success as I do. They don't have as much maybe knowledge or some things as I do. They don't have, I mean, yeah. But at the same time, they try to boast, they try to show off, they try to post and publish some, you know, luxurious, you know, cars, which they rented before. They try to, I don't know, they try to seem actually better than they really are. That's the main problem, because I don't know. I would tell you that it's even really difficult to explain why it is difficult, because you know, on the one hand, of course, there's nothing wrong. Of course, you can seem like, or you can try to be better, and you know, keep making other people think that you are better than you really are. But at the same time, it will be revealed. Sooner or later, it will be revealed. For example, when you enter just long-term interaction with people, either friendship or relationships, you will not be able to maintain the same level of this false success. In my, I don't know, it's really like, guys, it's really difficult to explain this, but you know, it also affects your mental state, just your psychological state. I don't know if it's, you know, if it's correctly to say this way, but for example, if you always try, if you constantly try to be better than you really are, it influences and it affects your, there are some mosquitoes out there, yeah, just get the hell out of here. It creates some pressure, you know, it creates some pressure, and again, when you try to be better every single time, when you really are, then you really are, you feel like you're constantly living under this pressure to maintain this outer layer of who you are, kind of like who you are for other people. So like, imagine if you have, let's say on Instagram, you have some posts with a car, actually, which you've never had money for, you just rented this car, you know, you have some clothes, which you also didn't have money for, you just, maybe just, you were saving money for a couple of years for this. Of course, it is extremely harsh, it's extremely complicated to maintain the same picture, the same, let me check the battery of my camera. Yeah, you know, this video is still being recorded, it's great. Yeah, you do need to spend lots of time on maintaining this, I would say, this false character. You know what I mean? This false character. And it's really difficult. You know, it's difficult. There's been always pressure, lots of pressure. You cannot sleep well, you cannot just think well, you're always under a pretty much big stress. And yeah, whereas me in my case, you know, I have nothing to prove to other people. I mean, I have enough resources, I have enough knowledge, I have this YouTube channel, and again, it goes to maybe the first point which I highlighted before, that yeah, like communication between people. Because when you're like this simple dude, trying not to show off, because you know, when you, it's really difficult to explain. It's really difficult to explain. But again, I'm not going to edit this video. Let me do it this way. When you occupy the opposite position, it's like when you try when you do not try to show, when you don't try to boast, when you you know, when you, let's put this way, when you have nothing to prove other people, because you actually do have this. You do have something that other people trying to prove other people that they kind of like ostensibly have. You live a completely different lifestyle. You have no stress, you have nothing to worry about, you have nothing to prove to other people. And there is nothing for you to create stress, to create some circumstances in which it will, as I said before, create some pressure, create some, you know, tension, maybe friction, maybe all these things. Because again, you know, again, having no luxurious cars, I mean, published on my Instagram, published on my Telegram, actually makes me pretty happy in terms of my mentality, psychological view, and actually in terms of interaction with other people. It's really great. It is really great. So my view would be that just try to do your best. Not to seem better, not to make other people think that you are actually a better person than you really are. That's a really great recipe for a happy life. I don't know, because again, to be completely honest, I've seen lots of examples, and you know, I've dealt with lots of examples when, you know, some of the people I used to interact with, they ask me for money, you know, to lend them some money. At the same time, they did have, I mean, it was them actually having all those luxurious cars and, you know, all these clothes, expensive clothes from Versace brand and all these things, to ask me for money. And it was actually me borrowing that money or lending that money. Yeah, it was me lending that money, yeah, who actually didn't have anything at all. Didn't have expensive clothes, didn't have, you know, brand clothes and all this, you know, things like expensive cars, because again, like, you know, I guess it's a lot better. It's a lot better to occupy exactly this position when you do have resources, but you do not show that you actually have them. It's a really great one. Well, and so actually, to be completely honest, I was thinking about whether I should make this third part, because it's a pretty debatable, you know, for some people, even in such videos in which people try to be as completely honest as possible, even for them it can be like some forbidden area, let's call it this way. But since I have 10,000 subscribers, and to be honest, the second reason why I didn't want to make this third part is that I have one relative from my family. It's not my father or mother, or yeah, but I have one relative on my Telegram channel constantly watching, maybe not videos because probably she doesn't have VPN, but she watches some posts and she reads them. And we, let's say my family and I, haven't told you about that. I'm gonna tell you that. Why not? Because I'm, you know, it's been a while since it started, and right now I'm just, it doesn't make me, let's say, less happy or, you know, disappointed or something. Actually, I want to talk about two things which completely changed my life and the way who I am. The first part, of course, is having, let me check it again because it's going to be a huge disaster if I am not making this video. Yeah, the first part is the first thing that changed my life is actually me having a surgery on both of my jaws, you know, upper and lower. I mean, I had them both cut and then actually reattached to my skull. It was a really hard surgery. Actually, it was, I would say, highly technologically difficult surgery. Actually, it is considered this way. Yeah, May 2024. The reason why it changed my life completely is that, you know, you've probably heard that, you've probably heard this philosophical view that only when something terrible happens, people change their perception, like either the loss of their parents or maybe going through some severe things. In my case, it was the surgery, and I will tell you for sure that not being able to eat for 1.5 months, not being able to drink properly, not being able to drink properly for more than even 2 weeks, actually is what made me, or is what really changed my life. Because again, you cannot even imagine how many things people take for granted. Like going to a pizza restaurant, I don't know, running, go jogging, go cycling, all these things are taken for granted by ordinary people. Let me take a sip of water. Actually, this is what I couldn't do at all. For me, it was a whole disaster. Yeah, here we are. By the way, right after this video, I'm going to the gym because it's Monday morning. All people go to their office work, and actually here I am making this video. Right now is almost 8:30. Siri, let's not talk about this. Yeah, and it's pretty great. Well, yeah, having this surgery. Well, this is the first thing that really changed my life, because right now, and the way it changed my life is actually that right now I try not to take for granted as many things as possible. For example, right now, I'm standing here just outside, it's pretty sunny, and I really enjoy it. I enjoy every second, because again, not only it's a really difficult structure. Not only was I not been able to go outside and to eat something. No, sorry for misinterpreting what I was about to say. Yeah, guys, recording video in English for 40 minutes, you know, as you can see what happens. Not only was I not been able to eat properly, like solid form food, but also I couldn't go outside, because you cannot actually go outside because you have a headache, you have a temperature, you have all these things. Because imagine how much resources your body needs to recover after this surgery. And that's the main point. Oh, there is a dog out there. Yeah, and it was a complete disaster, because again, first of all, yeah, there are some dogs barking. First, I was told by the surgeon, by doctors, that it would probably take me just a couple of weeks to recover. Like, yeah, and of course, I had watched some videos, I have watched some, like researches, etc., about how much time it would take me to recover. And actually, it was worse than it actually was supposed to be. Yeah, I think, yeah, that's the first thing actually that changed my life. Again, to summarize, right now every single action which I do, go cycling, go running, meeting with other people, going to the gym, doing pull-ups, push-ups, bench press, squats, all the exercises, I really enjoy doing them, and I appreciate every fucking, sorry for this word, every second of my life. It really what changed my perception. Well, and the second one, again, let me think about that, because I don't, yeah, right now I'm thinking about it in lifetime, as you can see, in real time, not lifetime, in real time. Yeah, I guess I will tell this. Okay, it's not a problem, because again, I don't think this particular relative will be able to see this, because she doesn't know English. Yeah, the second thing which changed my life, which completely changed my life and the way who I am and the way I think and the way I just interact with other people and the way I see the world, is actually my father's lung cancer. Yeah, he was diagnosed for about 1 year, 1 year ago, not 1 year ago, I guess, probably, yeah, 1 year ago. The story was that he had been smoking for almost 4 years. It was pretty much inevitable. Of course, I knew that something like this would happen sooner or later. And in December 2023, I just took him to the specialist, to the doctor. It was some hypnosis. Actually, I don't have dictionary right now, but I guess in English it is called this way, hypnosis. Let's say this session when you are told some things, there's some just meditation, music, and actually it is supposed to make you quit smoking, quit drinking, all these things. Yeah, I mean, it did help, but it was too late, actually. A couple of months later, he was diagnosed the lung cancer, the last stage, 4th stage of lung cancer. Well, right now he has already gone through, let's say, chemical therapy, if we call it this way, yeah, chemical therapy. his hairs actually start growing again, you know. But I would tell you that the reason why it changed my life also is that, and even like maybe more than the first one, is that right now I really appreciate human interaction and human connection. Unlike actually what I said before, when it comes to the first point which I was highlighting about human connection, about people's interaction. Why right now for people actually it is worth nothing, just ghost somebody, just stop talking to somebody. They do not appreciate they do not appreciate the value of other people. Like, it doesn't matter who are they, it doesn't matter who they are. Should appreciate every single person. Should just tell like good morning everybody, because you know human's life is the most precious thing and resource that we have actually in our life. Yeah, it's a pretty complex topic right now. I don't think I'm ready to explore this and to elaborate on that pretty deeply, but I just want to highlight two things that that have completely changed my life: having a surgery and my father's lung cancer. That's the main point. And maybe so what I want to say, actually, I'm not willing to finish this video on this note, because I don't want to make this video actually like negative. It's a pretty it should be like positive video, because we're celebrating this milestone of 10,000 subscribers. Thank you very much for being subscribed to this channel. Thank you very much for watching this video. Right now it is already 50 minutes. I guess it's going to be the longest video so far I've ever made. Also, there is a yacht out there. Probably there will be lots of people surfing just in the next hour or something. Yeah, or maybe I will also highlight the last point, which I also have some notes about. What is the most important part of life? Because people constantly ask themselves this question, you know, what is the most important part of life? Like there's been lots of people, there've been lots of philosophers talking about that, even let's say in ancient times. But I guess, you know, of course, I will be sharing my opinion, I will be sharing my perspectives. And I guess, guys, most of you will find this pretty relatable, pretty useful, I guess. When it comes to finding the answer for this question, what is the main point of life? I guess the clearest answer, the most concise answer would be that the main point of life is to provide society with some value, is to create value. And what I mean by saying creating value is actually contributing something to the society. And it can be done via different ways. For example, raising your kids. If you did this, you have already contributed value to the society. If you have, I don't know, some educational stuff, you have already contributed to the society. If you have, I don't know, some business, restaurant or something that helps people, that provides people with food, with some resources, with some knowledge, whatever, it can be anything, any business, whatever, which is useful, by the way. Not by the way, it was incorrect word. Which is useful and which is not, of course, some scam or something. Yeah. So, yeah, it's also a pretty difficult topic, but anyway. Yeah, ideally, if it's done both ways, it's really great. It's like having a family, also contributing to the outer society, not only, let's say, dealing and, let's say, raising your inner circle, because, you know, we probably know that there are lots of people only aiming and targeting their family. Like, I would say, putting all the energy and putting all the efforts towards their kids. And it's great, it's really great. But again, if you can do it both ways, like, for example, if you're a good professional, I don't know, maintenance worker, mechanic, programmer, doctor, and you really help people, at the same time you have a great family, this is the main point of life. If you've been seeking out for the answer, you know, what is you know what the point of life is and you haven't still found this, this is the key answer. There is nothing else just outside these two things, these two variables or parameters should contribute to the society as a person, because you were born to this world to create value. You know, every single person who is born here, I mean on this planet, is supposed to create some value. If there's no value created, it means that probably you have not fulfilled the main mission of your life that you were actually assigned by, let's call it the God or wherever. It doesn't matter whether you believe in God or not, just yeah, that's the main point, creating value, again, via your professional field, via your family or something. It actually doesn't matter. Ideally should be both, and then you will live, probably, I hope, the happiest life possible without scrolling Instagram, without doing all these things, because it's a real disaster. Well, it's been so far, how much time? Almost 55 minutes. So, in conclusion, what I want to say, thank you all guys for being subscribed to this channel. Thank you very much for watching all of my videos, all of our videos, of course. I hope that you have found this channel and all these videos pretty much useful, and if you did, don't forget to subscribe on this channel, give me a thumbs up. Of course, I will be looking forward to seeing your comments. If you have some similar things, similar perspectives, similar maybe opinions, wherever, just feel free to share them with other people in the comment section down below. And again, in this video, I've tried to just open up a little bit, also to show another angle, another side of me, because not only am I a teacher, but also I'm a real person with my own thoughts, with my own, I would say, maybe some small problems, maybe some struggles, whatever, but which all people do have. So I guess that will do. The weather is really beautiful. It's pretty sunny. It is going to be even warmer. Yeah. Well, thank you very much, guys. Again, this milestone, which we are celebrating right now, 10,000 subscribers. Have a great upcoming day. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video. Bye.